Welcome everybody to my Victoria 2 campaign. We will be playing the mod Divergences of Darkness, which is a fun little alternate history mod for the game. Now you may ask, why am I playing Victoria 2? This game is like 10 years old. It hasn't been updated since 2012. And you're right, but I think it's fun, and I've played a lot of the base game, and I think it'd be interesting to play this Divergences of Darkness mod. They had originally, so the original Divergences mod for Victoria 2 was for another mod. It was like a mod on a mod for what was it? Pop on Demand mod, which like overhauled the economy and all kinds of stuff from the base game, and it's a pretty popular mod. I don't like it. I personally don't like the Pop Demand mod. And I am playing the Divergences of Darkness one, which just kind of takes the base game and puts the scenario in, the alternate history scenario, instead of having all the Pop Demand mod extras. So, we are going to play this. It takes place in 1836, just like the regular Victoria 2. It is different. You can definitely tell by the map that it just doesn't look right. Where's France? Where's Britain? Where's Russia, for that matter? I'll probably explain all the different bits and pieces of this mess of a world. Look, see, India's a mess, China's a mess, Africa looks much the same. South America, what's even going on with South America? North America, that's not the United States. That's not Mexico. Again, we'll explore. So, the question is, what shall I play? That's a good question. I should have known going into this, so I didn't waste too much time on the screen. I had recently played a few campaigns. I played as Amazonie, Grand Colombia, played as Bohemia, that was cool. Aragon, that was neat. You know what? Let's be Muscovy. Let's make Russia, because Russia's cool. Russia's big, and we need to make Russia realize her destiny. Alright. So let's play. Alright, we're loading the graphics, adapting history. These cool little splash images from the loading screen probably represent history in this mod, but I couldn't tell you what it means. Alright, just a bunch of decisions that the AI makes, because that's what they do. Just gotta... Oh, excuse me. Okay, so, first and foremost, I'd like to say I'm not very good at this game. I've been playing it for so long, you'd think I'd know how to play it good, but I don't. So, let's start with the trade policy. I like to get our tariffs up. I understand, something I read is that in the early game, when your tax efficiency is really low, your main income will come from your tariffs. So we're just gonna spike that up here. Probably lower that. We don't need to keep our military spending up. We have no ships because we do not have a coastline. Alright, let me just get it all nice and neat. Let's go from left to right. We don't have any factories. We're making, excuse me. Ugh. We're making, okay, basically just coal, wood, grain, cattle, livestock, and that's it. That's all our raw materials. Really? That's all we have? We got a lot of it, but that's it. We have like two things of coal. Okay. Not the best resource base. I prefer if we had some iron, but we don't. Somebody does, I'm sure, nearby, somewhere. Who has iron? It's gotta be iron somewhere. Yeah, that's right. It's all way over here. Because Russia makes a lot of iron in Victoria too, but we're not Russia, we're Muscovy. Okay, so even though I said tax isn't that important, we're still gonna set taxes up to high, because we want to be solvent. Actually, that's a lot of money. We'll play it by ear. Um, yes, our tech. So I usually go for ideological thought first because you get a bunch of boosts to plurality, which really makes your research go up. And we have 3.84 tech points at 16% literacy for our whole people. So we are in need of some help. All right. We have a conservative government, just a standard interventionist, pro-military protectionists. We could switch to state capitalism. We might actually do that because I don't expect any capitalists to do us anything. And since we're the emperor, we'll do what we want. I think we're just the Grand Duke of Muscovy. I don't know. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so we can proclaim the Tsardom of all the Russias, which basically just involves us have a lot of prestige, owning all of our territory, Novgorod and Muscovy. We become Russia, get a bunch of cultures added to it, and we become Russia. And we also get that. We'll deal with that. Tech schools, which I hardly ever get tech schools, because I don't like feeling like when I take it, I'll sacrifice getting technology in one group and in exchange for another. Like I'll be off balance. I don't know. I don't like that. I like how in this one versus the base game they added a bunch of these little Uralic cultures around, like the Udmurts and the Chuvash and the Mordvins. It's kind of neat. Adds some flavor to the game. But that's not so interesting. Population. We have 4.53 adult males here. For total population 18.5 million. I think... So I used to just focus on education at first, so making everybody focus clergymen at the beginning. But you need money to pay for the clergymen, and you get more money if you have more bureaucrats governing your nation. So I'm going to boost that first. I never mess with trade, except I guess that. It's just a lot of micro that I don't want any part of. We are not a great power, so we won't be dealing with that. I like to create my leaders, but I don't care to assign them, so I'll let them do it. Our army is big. We have 49 brigades we can muster. Currently have 21. So, you know, let me just... Okay, I've got a bunch of decisions. I like to play with decision notifications on so I can see what's going on in the world. Alright, so... I don't know the ideal army combination. I usually do... Was it 6 infantry, 2 cannons, and 2 horses? I might trade in 2 of those infantry for 2 cannons because artillery are pretty good. I might do that later. The problem is, of course, artillery use resources that you might not always have. That was the army I just made. Alright, split you. Okay, we got a lot of hussars, don't we? We'll just let them move out of the way. Okay, so the dual monarchy is leaning towards French. Okay, so now it's probably a good place to start explaining the lore of this world bit by bit. So, we'll start with, I guess, the great powers. We'll start with the dual monarchy. So basically, Henry V wins the Battle of Agincourt, and he gets crowned King of France, right, in Paris. That happened historically, but he later dies, and his son, was it Henry VI? He's like a baby when he becomes throne. Stuff happens. I don't actually remember all what it is, but France does not stay under the rule of House Plantagenet for very long. In this continuity, however, it does, and it forms this dual monarchy. So the king of, I guess, England and France rules in Paris, and he speaks French. And has created this hybrid culture around the channel called Anglois, and you can see it's in southern England and Normandy and Ile-de-France. Whereas the English and the French live on the periphery, and of course you got Provençal or Occitan here, Breton, Welsh, Cornish, and they also own Ireland. So, from what I've seen in the lore, the dual monarch has had to kind of straddle the channel and prevent, looking like he's favoring one side or another, which I guess is kind of hard because the country is based in Paris, so the English might feel a little neglected, and the country is run in French, and the English might not like that. So in the mod, there are events that basically mean the dual monarchy can have unrest and troubles over, like, is this thing working out? Is this situation? And they can have revolts. It can be kind of messy. Alright, so as events and developments arise, we will study them. Okay, so we are making actually quite a bit of money from our tariffs, and I feel bad for charging so much for tariffs, because that means that my people have to pay extra money to get the goods they need to live. We don't make many goods of our own, so they're gonna have to import basic things like wool and fruit and tea here, but they have to pay the tariffs, which is how I'm gonna finance my regime. I just set the taxes down. Okay, we need to organize our army. So maybe I will do the 4 cannons, because cannons are strong, and I like them. But again, they do take extra. Okay, so Muscovite Tver assimilation is considered Muscovite territory. Is that a state? Is Tver a state? Yes. I generally don't like these. I think what it's going to do is it's just going to remove Novgorod's core from Tver. I don't want to do that. Nah. Wait a minute. Can I attack? I can't attack Novgorod. But they're allied with Scandinavia, and that could be an issue. I should probably wait for Scandinavia to go to war. So Scandinavia is basically the Union of Kalmar. Instead of Sweden breaking free, it stayed together, became a unified state, and I think it was James the Sixth of Scotland ended up marrying like the heiress of Scandinavia. So, instead of Scotland passing to England, it passes to Scandinavia, and they spread, of course, to Iceland, Greenland. They also found a colony here in northeastern North America, centered along the St. Lawrence River and the Great Lakes, called Vinland, which has just become independent. Okay, so we should probably also build extra that guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yes, you'll need guys too. Disband you. Okay. We'll have them all congregate in Tula. Russia's heavily forested. Look at all that. Okay, so the dual monarchy. So because the great Western European powers evolved differently, so I think Charles the Bold, famous Duke of Burgundy, did not die at the Battle of Nancy, but instead he lived and managed to forge his Middle Francia kingdom, which I think was his goal. He took over the Rhineland, he kept Burgundy, has the Low Countries, and it's become a wealthy, powerful empire centered along would that be the Meuse River, the Lower Rhine, all those rivers there. And Spain, instead of inheriting Aragon, inherited Portugal, while Aragon went its own way and became a Mediterranean power. So you have the great, the classic great colonizers. You have the dual monarchy, the Anglois, who rule, or who founded Plantagenet, these colonies in, the lower Mississippi, the southeastern United States, centered along New Orleans, which is still founded in Louisiana. They also founded the Amazonie colony here in northeastern Brazil, whereas Burgundy founded New Burgundy, the Belgian Confederacy in what is New England and the Atlantic states of the United States, and Lotharingia, which is southern Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentinian Mesopotamia. Beornia is like an exile realm founded by English immigrants who didn't want to live under the Anglois anymore, so they founded their own little kingdom here. This is a kingdom. It's not a republic. And as far as I know, it was never ruled by an American or a European power. Excuse me. The Inca did not get conquered, at least not completely. They lost like a large part of Peru, but they survived. And the Spanish have taken over basically everything else in the Americas. They took over Mexico, Texas, Central America, Venezuela, the Guianas, Colombia, Peru, all that stuff. And Cuba. Scandinavia took Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. Yeah, so it's kind of funky. Venice, of all places, colonized Florida and the Bahamas. I don't really know what that's about. And, okay, so here's where the mod gets a little out there, right? It's going on the conceit that Chung He, the ancient Chinese admiral for the Ming Dynasty, I think it was like in the late 14th century, did his little voyages in the Indian Ocean, sailed all the way to Africa. The idea is that the emperor never told him to stop and destroy his ship, so he just kept exploring, I guess, and he discovered Australia and the Americas, and he founded colonies there. And these colonies were not ruled by China. They just emerged from the colonists that were there, which is kind of far-fetched, honestly. But, you know, it's fun. So, Qing Qiu rules California, Nevada, and all the way up to the Pacific Northwest. Definitely some weird stuff, but, you know, it's different, it's interesting. And that's why we play these kinds of mods, huh? Somebody got independent, and I should have checked who got independent. I don't know. Crimea? Did Crimea get independent? Hallelujah, glory, hallelujah. Actually, I think you can stay. I'm having a moment. There you go. All right, war between Aceh and Palembang. I don't often read these. They're not very interesting. Province goes to war. Venice expands the Hungarian constitution. Okay, Central Europe. The Holy Roman Empire is not ruled by the Austrians, but instead, the Holy Roman Empire is still around, by the way. It is ruled, I think it's a little sphere of influence. Bohemia is the Holy Roman Emperor. The King of Bohemia is the Emperor, who rules Silesia and Brandenburg, for whatever reason. Austria is not really anything. It's just a little minor. It's a secondary power. It's not stupid, but it's not the great power it was in the timeline, in our timeline, you know. And it never inherited Hungary or Bohemia, so both of those kingdoms went their own way. Italy is still disunited, and I think there's certain spheres of influence. Yeah, so Aragon has sphere in there, and the dual monarchy has spheres. Kind of like in real-life Italian wars, but only 300 years later. Honestly, I would think something like that would have been resolved by now, but yeah, well. I don't know why Russia is not united. I don't know what happened. I haven't been able to find any lore that really explains why Russia did not form. It's just Novgorod and Muscovy and all these decisions. And Belarus, Pskov, yeah. So the Poland-Lithuanian Commonwealth is still around, and it is a great power. No, it's not. It can become a great power if it annexes its little satellites here. It's got Ruthenia, Belarus, Lithuania, Prussia. Prussia did not become its own independent kingdom like it did historically. Alright, let's start moving our guys on the border. I need to attack the Novgorodians at some point. Because if I do, I get all kinds of goodies. I can form Holy Russia. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. Alright. So, because Russia did not form, it did not expand into the steppe, it did not conquer any of these continents, it did not go into Siberia, it did not found Alaska. The Japanese did. The Japanese colonized Alaska. And the Japanese have also colonized northeastern Siberia. And I don't know if they conquered Korea and it revolted, and that's why they're fighting it now. It looks like it. Joseon fight for freedom, so it looks like they were conquered by Japan. I don't know why the Qing were not able to conquer the Ming, because the Ming are like, there's little bits of them left. And the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. I don't know what happened here, but China is split in two, just like the ancient North and South dynasties back in the I forget what was like the 6th century. Okay, normally I like to lose militancy, but they didn't have any militancy, so I should have gone for consciousness. Oh well. Karkia offers an alliance. I don't know who you are. I can use the search function. You are a little Persian state, and I don't care to... I don't want to ally with you, because then I'd be obligated to protect you, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so... yeah, these guys are at war. We're not really concerned about that. So our goal is to first unify Russia. Once we unify Russia, we can start conquering these hordes. Yes, actually. Probably want Poland as an ally because we need their help in fighting Novgorod. Novgorod has a small army. It's like a quarter the size of ours. Scandinavia has a big army. Poland does not have a very big army either. And neither do its little buddies. So, my goal is Scandinavia will be fighting Bohemia for control of... okay, so... someone is attacked. Who are the Shaki? Who are you? The Tarki Shakalet, okay. There's a lot of little nations that I'm not very familiar with. The Shaki Khanate once. North Caucasia. Okay. Oh, this guy. What are these? Azeris? Turkomans. Okay. They're not Azeri, but they're Turkomans. Alright. Good to know. Good to know. Turkadula. Ah, yes. Moldavia wants an alliance. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of EU4, and I'm used to, like, relations limits, but there's no such limit in Victoria 2. You can be friends with as many people as you want. Okay, so yeah, Gran Colombia was fighting Spain for independence. It has now won its independence and has come to the aid of Vinland in its war against the Belgian Confederacy, which is probably the closest thing that this timeline has to a United States. As in like a federation of New World republics. And, you know, the ideal of the shining house on the hill and all that. Wonderful, wonderful Americanness. Scandinavia wants an alliance. That's interesting, because if I attack Novgorod, they'll be obligated to come to their rescue. I don't know if they will. Actually, we need 2 of you to go there. What are you supposed to have? Okay. You go there. Alright, we almost got all Just okay. I do not need this much money. I like money, but it does have consequences the way I get it. I want my people to be good. I am the little father, the ruler of the Russias. What was it? Eh. Well, I mean, my people are getting by. And even the poor classes are getting their everyday needs, which is, what does that consist of? I can check. Alright, I gotta select them all. Okay, so, peasant. Little Russian peasant man. You're a little farmer. What are your everyday needs? Coal, I guess, to keep warm, fertilizer for your crops, good smoke, some tea, coffee, of course some whiskey, definitely need clothes. I mean, that's, you know, your luxury goods are paper. You can't read. What do you need paper for? And furniture, so you can get... See, that's not so bad. I mean, it's not the greatest of lives, but what do you expect in 19th century Russia? It's poor, we're backwards, no one can read. Getting your everyday needs is probably the best you can expect. Alright, you go there. I should probably recruit some generals. Okay, go to Yaroslavl. Actually, I need you to be at Kazan. So, apparently we conquered the Khanate of Kazan. The Sibir. Well, no. The Sibir Khanate was different. The Khanate of Kazan was one there. So we conquered the Khanate of Kazan, but we never got Novgorod. And I don't know. My Russian history isn't so up to date, so I don't know exactly what would have happened that Novgorod was not annexed. Novgorod is a republic. We are an absolute monarchy. We are the Grand Principality of Moscow. The greatest of the Russian states. And there's only like 3 of us left, so. Okay. Okay, so if I declare war on you, and I am allied with Scandinavia. I don't want to fight Novgorod. It's one of the tactics you can use when you're playing as Scandinavia is basically to keep at least one of the Russian states in your sphere, so the other one will not attack it. And so Russia does not form, because as soon as Russia forms, it's a big boy on the block that will try and take its cores back, and that's going to pressure Poland and Scandinavia, and that's a contest they often lose. Okay, my people are interested in reform. I like to give people reforms. Oh, gosh. Serfdom is not good. Serfdom is actually pretty not good. If I get peonage, I can liberate the serfs. My people will have more money. They will be able to learn faster. There's really no reason to keep serfs around. It's not... There's so many serfs. How many are getting their everyday needs? Some. Yeah, I'll free the serfs. Because there's really nothing else I want. There's really no reason to keep serfs around, other than, I don't even know if it reduces their, like, consciousness or militancy. It just keeps them in a state of poverty, and poor people are no good to me because they can't read, they have no money, I can't tax them, they're just there. I guess they work the land and produce goods, but they don't do it that well. See, they just get a minus. Well, I have my. See, I got extra RGO outputs now that I've reduced them to peonage. They're peons now, not serfs. Peons, I guess, are guys who are in debt. I guess they paid. They bought farm tools on credit, maybe an animal or something. And now they have to work off their debt, but they bought it for so much credit that there's no way they can conceivably work it off in like a lifetime. Okay, we got extra prestige, which is good. We want that. I should attack. Alright, well this is a good place to stop. We're just getting on our feet, getting everything situated in Muscovy. I want to attack Novgorod soon. It won't be hard to fight Novgorod. I don't want to fight Scandinavia with them though, because Scandinavia is a great power and they have a lot of guys. They had 60 brigades last I checked. Now they have 78. We need to wait for them to go to war with somebody. Yeah, we definitely need to. Can we attack these guys? We could. Who are you allying with, Nishaki? Hey, we'll figure that out later. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I said I'll see you. Hold on, let me do that. Alright, I'll see you next time.